Here's a song you can't go wrong. If you take an easy line, catch a tune before it's gone. Anything will go for a song. Here's a song, keep right on till you find the right kind of star. Keep the sound rolling round. Anything will go for a song. Well, here's a song you keep right on. If you take an easy line, keep it short and say it strong. Anything will go for a song. Oh, baby, don't say a word. Mama gonna be a mockingbird. 3, 5, 4, 1, bang it on the big bass drum. Oh, here's a song, keep right on. Find a melody that's simple. Play it soft, play it loud, play it sweet and sentimental. Oh, baby, don't you cry. Take a little finger out of your eye. Mama gonna sing la la la, strum it on the old guitar. Well, here's a song you can't go wrong. If you take an easy line, catch a tune before it's gone. Wrap it in a meaning rhyme. Here's a song, keep right on. Easy come and easy go. Keep the sound rolling round. Anything will go for a song. Oh, baby, don't you cry. Take a little finger out of your eye. Mama gonna sing la la la, strum it on the bass guitar. Oh, here's a song you can't go wrong. If you take an easy line, catch a tune before it's gone. Anything will go for a song. Oh, here's a song, keep right on. Easy come and easy go. Keep it short and say it strong. Anything will go for a song. Here's a song, can't go wrong. If you take an easy line, catch a tune before it's gone. Anything will go for a song. Here's a song, you can't go wrong. If you take an easy line, catch a tune before it's gone. Anything will go for a song.
Emulate the taste of like non-chicken nuggets. So these nuggets are made from chicken, but they're made to emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
Oh, that's much better.
Edit all the blather out of your videos because my time is very precious.
Oh, that's fire.
Make it less teal and more
Cerulean? Sure.
Replace your background with something more fun? The cold void of outer space.
Let's boost that sound quality. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Emulate the taste of non-chicken nuggets. Dope.
It needs more style. It needs more clips, more gifs, more. Well, I might have made it too gnarly.
All right, y'all. Welcome to How Media Teams Make a Video Podcast with One Tool. My name is Adrien Colon, and I am a video producer here at Descript. I've been on a previous webinar covering AI clips. And this is my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, jack of all trades, literal master of all, Ramdy Marte.
I'm here. Just in case you guys are wondering if I'm a real person, I'm live. I'm in the flesh, saluting for some reason. I always salute. I feel like that's my go-to thing for some reason. But yeah,
It's effective. It works every time, you know.
yeah.
Also, I've met this man in person. He is very real. He is not synthetic. But yeah, let's get into it. We have folks here from all over the map. I saw some folks from, let's see, we got Texas, we got London in the house, we got New York, we got Oakland. What's up, Oakland? We got Seattle, we got Atlanta, we got Florida, we got Arizona. Dope. Cool. All right. Let's take a quick poll before we get into it. How many of you in the audience are working as solo creators, meaning you're executing every single step of the process from start to finish, versus how many of you are working with a production team, meaning you're collaborating with one or more people? So whether you're a solo creator or you're working as part of a team. Second question is, what is currently in your tool stack? What are you using to record video and audio? What tool are you using to sweeten your audio? What do you use to sync your video and audio? And what do you use for multi-track editing? What are you using to add captions? What are you using to clip your video podcast for social? Go ahead and drop your answers in the chat. Let's see what you guys are working with.
Seen a lot of solos.
Oh yeah, lots of solos.
Yeah.
Lots of one-man bands. Oh, we got a team here. We got one team. Dope. We got solo from London. We got Descript, yay. Adobe Audition. Awesome. Cool. I only have virtual assistants, not really employees. I use my phone. Cool. Audacity. Awesome. So we got a nice mix. Adobe products and then Descript. Cool. Veed. Camtasia. More Adobe. Sweet. That was cool to get an idea of what you guys are all using in your tool stack. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right. So throughout the webinar, we encourage you to use the YouTube chat for comments and questions throughout the webinar. This session is being recorded and we'll send it in a follow-up email if you want to revisit it for additional information. Also, if you need more in-depth help, please check out help.descript.com. Next slide. Cool. Our agenda for today is very simple. We're going to cover the tool problem. Then Ramdy will take you on a super dope live demo. And then we'll have time for a Q&A at the end. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we will do our best to answer as many as we can. Next slide. So this webinar is for teams who record video podcasts pretty regularly and who are sick and tired of exporting and importing between tools. This is also for your solo people as well. This will make your lives a lot easier for both teams and if you're a solo person. Next slide. By the end of today, you'll have one tool, repeatable workflow that cuts your post-production in half. You'll have a way to ship a full video podcast episode and social clips from one project. You'll be able to get cleaner audio without bouncing between tools. You'll have a revision process that doesn't require restarting the whole edit. And finally, you'll have a single path from raw recording to a polished video podcast, all in one platform. Cool. All right, next slide. So let's start with the problem. One of the biggest bottlenecks and headaches with podcasting is you record in one tool, you edit in another tool, you cut video in a third tool, then maybe you have to add captions in another tool and chop clips in a fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh or 10th tool. The reason it takes a week isn't just the editing, it's also the exporting from one tool to another tool and another tool and another tool and another tool. And next slide. But what if we told you there's a better way? That's where Descript comes in. So in Descript, you can record yourself and your guests, and the project is already in Descript. It's synced, transcribed, and ready to edit. You can publish your full episode, your social clips, and your transcript all from the same place. No handing off projects or reworking them. One tool, one flow from start to finish. Next slide. So a great example of a company who benefited from using Descript is Revolo. So Revolo is a staffing solution that connects companies with engineers. And Steve Patrizzi, the CMO at Revolo, wanted to create a branded leadership podcast to connect with their audience of leaders. But juggling separate tools for recording and editing and repurposing made production way too time consuming and way too hard to sustain. But with Descript, they were able to record, edit multi-track video and audio, add captions, create clips with AI, and use branded templates all in one single platform. So what used to take them a week now would be done in just a few hours. On that note, let's jump into the most exciting part of the webinar, the demo. Ramdy, take it away.
It's my time now. You guys are all stuck with me. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be going through how I would edit a podcast all in Descript and how I will go from raw footage to something more finished and polished like this.
In bodies running through long creative days. I'm Constance, VP of Marketing at Snackstack AI. The
And
AI
how
that
we can even make a social clip.
a little bit. Both
Something
of you
like
work
this.
in completely different worlds. You need to stay sharp. What do you eat throughout the day that
Very simple, very simple. It takes a lot of the annoying re-exporting and we can do all that in Descript. So first thing we're going to do is before we can edit a podcast, we have to film a podcast. So there's multiple ways you can go about it. One, you can film all your stuff separate, all your cameras and audio stuff. You can film that separate and just import it into Descript, which is what I'm going to be doing here. Or you can just record your podcast directly into your project, which if you have an empty project or on your Descript homepage, you just click on the record button here and then record with others. And it'll take you to a Descript rooms page where you can invite anyone, record your podcast. You don't have to worry about audio, getting their footage, them having to send it to you. It just all gets uploaded here. So very nice and simple. So for me though, I'm going to be importing all my stuff. So in my project tab, I have it nice, neat and organized. As you can see, organization, so important. Whatever you're editing, make sure it's organized. Make sure you don't just have a whole bunch of raw files just sitting here. That's a big no-no. We want it to be nice and clean. So that's what I did here. And if I open my video page or folder, you can see I have 3 subfolders. One is a wide shot, which has all three of us. Boom, perfect, looking beautiful. Then we have a folder for our guest shot, which is just me and Marcelo. And then we have one for our host shot, which is just our host. Perfect. And then if we go into our audio folder, same sort of thing. We have my audio here, we have Marcelo's audio here, and we have Constance's audio here. So before we can get editing, we want to make a multi-track sequence, which basically what that does is that takes all of our footage, all of our audio, it syncs it up nice and beautifully so we can just edit it real nice and easy in our composition. So the way I'll do that is I will select all my footage. Now we did 2 takes of this. I want to use the second take for our podcast. So I'll click on the second one of each of our stuffs. As you can see here, we have create sequence. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to create our sequence. Then I'll add our speaker labels, Ramdy for me, Marcelo for Marcelo, Constance for Constance. Now these are just the video tracks, which we're not going to be using their audio, so I didn't add speaker names for this. Then we have our sequence created. So then I'll go to my camera stuff. I will mute our cameras because we don't want that audio. Boom. Mute those 3. So our top 3 are our audio tracks. Mine, Marcelo's, and Constance's. So this is where we would sync them up. I believe these are already synced up. They're the same length, so they're already nice and neat and synced up for us. But this is where you can sync them up. Let's say they were different lengths, something like this. We would sync them up nice and easy. That's also why you want to make sure when you're recording something with multiple cameras and multiple audios, you want to make sure you're doing your audio sync before you start recording. Nice little clap or something like that, so you can sync them up nice and easy in your sequence editor. But we'll name this one Fuel for Work. We'll do Raw Take 2. So we'll name it. Done. So now we have our sequence here. So now we are nice and ready to get editing. So we'll drag this sequence into our empty composition. And boom, just like that. Everything nice and synced and ready for us to use. We didn't have to do anything fancy. We didn't have to export anywhere and import somewhere else. It's all here, ready for us to get editing. We can rename this to be whatever we want. But yeah, now we're going to get editing. So we'll switch over to this project where we have that going on. Cool. So first thing we want to do is sort of like a rough cut, where we want to take away all the stuff that we want to get rid of, like anything we're talking to producers behind the camera, anything we want to do a retake of. We want to cut all that stuff out, right? And really optimize our podcast. So if you have edited in Descript, or if you haven't, you just edit the text. It's very simple. So literally at this point, anyone can do it. If you're in a team and you just need someone to do a quick rough cut for you, but they're like, I don't really know how to edit. You kind of do, because if you've ever typed anything and have deleted what you typed, you basically know how to edit. So let's say, for example, right here, all this stuff here, we want to cut out because we want our podcast to start here where Constance says, hey everyone. And we want to cut out everything before it. So we just select everything before it, cut it out, just like that. We made a cut. Perfect. So we just go through and we cut out all that stuff we don't want, blah, blah, blah. Even silences. For example, this silence here, if I wanted to cut that out, we can open our timeline here by just dragging this up and cutting it out. Now, podcasts are a little bit more natural and free-flowing, so I feel like my normal style of editing, which is I like everything to be very fast-paced and cut out all the silences, You don't really have to do that for podcasts, but if that's something that you wanted to do, you could also do that here. So, for example, let's see, there's a spot here where I do a little bit of retake right here. Yeah, so this whole point where I say clears the memory, that's not really what I meant to say. I redid it. We want to cut all that out. So I'll go to here and I'll cut it out. Maybe adjust the silences a little bit. Boom, perfect. If we wanted to move things around for some reason, we could cut something, paste it here. You can pretty much do whatever you need to get your podcast nice and rough cutted. So once we have our podcast nice and rough cutted, we want to change this because this is really ugly. We don't just want 3 different camera shots. We want to have our specific shots. So there's a couple ways you can go about this. One, you can just use automatic multicam. So if we go into our properties tab, you can go into AI tools and click on automatic multicam, which is right here, or it'll also bring you there if you click here and then go into automatic multicam. Either way, you end up here. And you can adjust the settings. You can adjust it to automatic or to only show the active speaker. You can adjust it to cutaways to like different reactions and stuff like that when someone isn't speaking. You can have it for occasional, frequent, or none. I'm going to stick with show only active speaker though. Then all I have to do is click on my camera setup and make sure I give each of my speakers a specific camera. So for Constance, who's the host, I have the host camera checked. For me, I have the guest camera checked. And for Marcelo, I have the guest camera checked. Boom, perfect. So we can submit that. Underlord does its thing. And then as you can see, it kind of selects your shots for you. Just like that. Very, very, very simple. So that's already a huge chunk of editing a podcast, just selecting your clips. Huge chunk of that is already taken care of automatically. And if I wanted to change shots, that's something that I can do very easily as well. For example, here,
Bodies running through long creative days. I'm Constance, VP of Marketing.
Where we kind of want to hide this cut. You know, we don't really want to
Creative days. I'm Constance.
Show that jump cut. A very quick, easy way to do that is I'll just make a new scene by clicking / and I'll select, let's go back to the properties tab. I'll select my shot and then I'll go to the multicam tab and I'll change it to be the wide shot. So it'll switch. And if we play it back,
We talk about how people keep their brains and bodies running through long creative days. I'm Constance, VP of Marketing at Snackstack.
boom, just like that. Very simple, very easy way to switch your shots. And if I wanted to switch it to a reaction shot for some reason here, if I wanted to show our guests, I'll click it, go to our guest shot, boom, we have our guest shot.
For the day. Today, we've got 2 guests from Descript, which if you make a podcast.
Very simple, very easy. So yeah, having that multi-track sequence lets us edit our multicam very, very simply. So if we move on, that's one way you can do it is the automatic multicam. Another way you can do it is if you like to be a little bit more meticulous like me, where I'm someone who I steer less from like doing things automatically. I like to be very annoying and like choose my own stuff. So the way I like to do it is I like to create scenes first of shots that I know I want. So let's say for this scene right here, I know I want that to be the wide shot.
That's my sponsor line for the day. Today we've got
And then this scene here, I know I want it to be the host shot.
Descript, which if you make podcasts or videos, you probably already know. We've got Ramdy Marte.
This, I want it to be the guest shot. So that's another way I like to do it, is I like to create all my scenes first. And like just kind of have in mind what shots I want to be there. And then I select my layout. So if we go into layouts, and this is a very easy way to very quickly up the production value of your thing. And you can have a very consistent look across every episode without just redoing graphics and titles and all that stuff. There's a lot of layouts you can choose from already. If we go in here, we have a whole bunch of options. Also, if you're enterprise, you can also make your own layouts. So I want to stick with Dublin Kale Dark for this. So I'll select that as my layout. And then I'll just click on the camera shot. And then I'll do the same thing here. I'll just select my shot, which I want to be the host shot. Now it adds a transition. I like to take those out.
Helps
So this will be
teams
the host
stack
shot.
smarter. Line for the day. Today we've got two guests.
And then I'll do the same thing here. And I want this to be my guest shot or my host shot. Boom. So it's the same sort of thing, a little bit slower, but a little bit more control. So it kind of just depends on how you want to go about it. So once we do all that, we basically have our podcast
Smarter.
almost completely edited. So once we select all of our shots, whether if you do automatic multicam or creating scenes and choosing your own shots, it'll look something like this. So we'll
AI
play a
that
little bit of
helps
it.
teams stack smarter. That's my sponsor line for the day. Today we've got two guests from Descript, which if you make podcasts or videos, you probably already know. We've got Ramdy Marte, our in-house video editor, and Marcelo Farrell, enterprise sales engineer. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yep, same.
Let's start from the top. Mornings. What is the first hour of your day like?
Yeah, I like to wake up around like 5:30, maybe 6.
So we kind of already have our podcast completely edited because we selected all of our shots. So now we just want to add the final touches, right? We want to add our intro. We want to add any kind of lower thirds. We want to add our outro. So that's where we would do this. So since I already have my layout selected, let's start with the intro. Now there's a couple ways you can go about this. If you already have like a logo or an intro package, you can just throw that in here. Perfect, just like that. Or if you don't have an intro, you can go to your layout and you can choose from your options here. I'll click this one. And it'll even, just like that, it'll even automatically populate what it thinks you want the text to be. Obviously, you can adjust this however you want, which is a big plus to about layout packs, in my opinion, is you can still adjust everything. That's one thing I don't really like about other editing programs where there's like a whole bunch of templates, but you can't really change anything. I don't like that. I like, in my opinion, it's an editing program, so you should be able to adjust whatever you want. And you can do that in Descript, which is a big plus. So that's one thing you can do. For the podcast that I showed you earlier, this little intro, I'll play it again.
Hey everyone.
I just generated that because I didn't have a logo or anything for it. So that's another thing you can do, which we won't get into. But yeah, I just generated it. I generated my logo first, my image. And then once I liked it, I went into video and I said, hey, generate me an intro for this. And I did it. So boom, I just made an intro package just like that by myself. And I suck at animation, so that's a plus. But yeah, we have our intro here. Boom.
Hey everyone, welcome to Fuel for Work, the podcast where we talk about PM marketing.
And right here where Constance introduces herself, we want to add in a lower third. So let's do that. I'll make a new scene. Boom. And then I'll go back to my layout pack. I'll go to the speaker section and click on which one I want. I want this one that has the little detail behind under her name. So I'll click on that one.
I'm Constance, VP of Marketing at Snackstack AI. The AI
And it already pre-populates for me. I just have to change a few things. I'll add this. I'll add her last name, which this is a fake name, so I just made her last name up. Her name is not Constance Simmons.
I'm Constance, VP of Marketing at Snackstack AI, the AI that helps teams snack smarter. That's my sponsor line for the day. Today we've got two.
Perfect. And this little smart transition, I don't really want that. So I'll just go to my transition tab and I'll take the transition out.
The day. Today we've got two guests from Descript, which if you make podcasts or videos, you probably already know. We've got Ramdy Marte.
And for this section, I want to have lower thirds for each of us here. So let's do that. I'll go back to our layouts, speaker label, boom. Add my name. Now, as you can see in the script, it got my name wrong, which it does all the time. I'm actually surprised it got Ramdy right. That's progress. Thanks whoever works at Descript to fix specifically my name. And as you can see, Descript here is wrong. So if you have these kind of transcription errors in your script, you can easily fix that. Select it, click on correct, put in the right word, boom, just like that, you're done. You can also use the C button or a C button, C key on your keyboard. Click on a word, does the same thing, boom. So you can fix it that way as well. We'll also fix Marcelo's name.
Ramdy Marte, our in-house video.
So yeah, as you can see here, we only have one title. We have two people, so we need to duplicate this. So I'll go into my scene editor. I'll select my name. I'm holding shift. I'll also select my title. I'll also select this little green thing. I'll copy that and I'll paste it. So it basically duplicates it. And I'll bring that second one over here. Perfect. Then I'll just add in Marcelo's name. Then I'll add his title. Enterprise Sales Engineer. And boom, just like
we
that.
already know we've got Ramdy Marte, our in-house video editor, and Marcelo Farrell, enterprise sales engineer. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah.
And then again, we'll just remove that smart transition.
Enterprise sales engineer. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Boom. So just like that, we added in our lower thirds. We added in a title. Barely doing any work. So layouts really help in adding all this stuff super quickly. As a matter of fact, in my last shameless plug, in my last video where I had to make a video in a day, I pretty much only depended on layouts to help me finish editing a video in like 40 minutes because I just didn't have time to do it all myself. So it saves you a bunch of time, especially if you're trying to hit deadlines. Layouts is a big help for that. So we'll go through and our podcast is kind of essentially edited. We have all of our shots selected.
After refresh work.
Sounds great. How about you, Marcelo?
Probably another coffee, and then I will maybe run to the corner store for a taquito that's been on that roller for too long.
All right, let's talk snacks because.
Perfect. We have our intros. We have our lower thirds. If you wanted to do a cutaway or something for like an ad read, let's say we wanted to do it. Let's say we wanted to do an ad read here for some reason. I'll just make another scene. and it created an empty scene for me. Since there's 2 scenes in a row, it creates an empty scene. And you can add in anything you want here. You can add in some more, you can add in another recording. You can add in a layout of whatever you want. Add in a chapter title layout if I wanted.
That was tough.
You can add in whatever. So you can go through and finish editing your podcast. And then we can go to the end here.
So much fun. Thank you so much for joining Feel for Work. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time.
And let's add in a little outro for us. So we'll go back to our layouts. Go to the outro section. And we can go with this one or this one. I like this one for YouTube. Perfect. And I think we'll go with up next. And maybe watch our last episode. And if you already have the thumbnails for those, you can add them in here by just clicking add media and uploading them and replacing them here. Or you can just leave them empty and add them in the YouTube editor later on, or you can throw in whatever you want there. So I'll leave it empty and I'll add it later on. And then we have our outro card. So now all we need to do is add in our intro music. So then we just go to the media tab here, go to the audio tab, and we search for music. I don't even know what to search for. Let's say I wanted to do lo-fi music for some reason. Search lo-fi and just go through and search all the options. Cool. Cool. You can use any of these. These are all royalty free, so you won't have any issues. Let's say I wanted to use this one. I'll just drag it into my scene.
Hey everyone, welcome.
And then we want our music to keep playing. We don't want it to cut out. So what I would do is I would lower the volume a little bit. So I'll select where I want it to lower the volume. Like about here, I'll click S, which splits the clip. And we will go back to our properties tab and we will say, we want this to be a little quieter. So let's try minus 18 dB.
Hey everyone, welcome to Feel for Work, the podcast where we talk about how people keep their brains and bodies
Sounds good to me.
through long creative days.
Maybe do a little bit more quieter. Let's try minus 22.
Hey everyone, welcome to Feel for Work, the podcast where we talk about how people keep their brains and bodies running through long creative days. I'm Constance, VP of Marketing at SnackStack.
And let's say we wanted our music to fade out about here. So I'll click S again. Delete this. Then I'll grab our audio fade handle right here. And we'll fade it out like this.
Probably already know, we've got Ramdy Marte, our in-house video editor, and Marcelo Farrell, enterprise sales engineer. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yep, same.
Let's start from the top. Mornings.
Just like that, we have our intro with our intro music. And if we wanted to do our outro, what I would do is I would just copy this little audio section here, Control C. And then I would go to our outro. I'll paste it here, Control V. And then I'll just have it fade in.
See you all next time.
Just like that, we have outro music. If I wanted this to start even earlier and be quieter like before, I would extend this. And then I would choose where I want it to start getting louder, which is like about here. Again, I'll split it. Then I'll say for this part, I want it to be quieter. So we'll go to -22. And then
joining Feel for Work. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time.
perfect. And if we don't want that like abrupt getting louder, a hack that I like to do is I like to have these two audio tracks overlap like this and then just fade into each other. So I'll have the quieter one fade out. I'll have the louder one fade in. And then it adds that nice gradual increase. So if you play it back.
Enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time. Enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time.
Perfect. So that'll lead to a fully edited podcast that looks like this. This one we use different intro music in our generated intro. It's the same thing. That's what I showed you earlier.
Hey everyone, welcome to Feel for Work.
So now let's say I have a finished podcast. Perfect. This is ready to be published. This is ready to be posted. All we have to do is go to our export tab in the video tab here. And there's a couple different ways you can export it. You can just do the Descript web link, that's what shows you the share page. Or you can just upload it straight into YouTube. But we'll stick with a Descript web link for now. So I'll click on publish. Boom. And it publishes just like that. And you can download it from there, or you can open the share page. And it's rendering now, but you can send this share page to anybody. So if you have collaborators, if you have clients, if you want to show it to your guests before you post it, you can send them that link. They can watch the whole thing. They can download it from there. They can make comments on the transcript. So if I want to say, can you cut this for some reason? I'll comment that. And it'll show all the comments. So you can get notes on anything and all of that just in the share page. So, oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, real quick. For people that are working on teams for our enterprise grade account, we have Brand Studio, which means you can basically centralize your company's visual brand assets like logos, like color palettes, fonts, custom layout packs. And it basically allows your entire team to effortlessly create on-brand videos without having to hunt for design files or pass design files back and forth. Like if there's like an update to a file, anybody can go in there and update the file, and everybody will have access to it. So if you're on your team, you can actually schedule a demo by scanning the QR code that should be on your screen. And there also should be one in the chat too.
Cool. And also there are some audio effects that you can use for your podcast. So for example, if we go back into our sequence here, I believe these all have studio sound applied to them at max intensity. So just to show you how useful this is, I'm going to turn studio sound off for all of our tracks, just so you can see how noisy it actually was in there and what a big difference it makes.
Welcome to Feel for Work, the podcast where we talk about how people keep their brains and bodies.
You hear the AC going on in the background.
I'm Constance. First hour of your day like?
Yeah, I like to wake up around like 5:30, maybe 6 if I'm feeling a little bit sluggish. A little bit of...
Doesn't sound horrible, but doesn't sound great. So you can use studio sound. Let's go back into our sequence and re-enable it. Boom.
Mornings. What is the first hour of your day like?
Yeah, I like to wake up around like
sounds infinitely better. So if you have any guests that you're inviting onto your podcast who are not using the best mic or who are not even using a mic at all, they're just using their laptop mic, you can still salvage that audio and make it sound pretty good with Studio Sound. Some other audio effects. You can see we have a whole bunch of options here. You have compressors, you have limiters, you have EQs, you have reverb. I like to add limiters just to make sure that we're not peaking at minus 3 dB. So basically what a limiter does, it makes sure that your audio never exceeds a certain threshold. So I like to do that to make sure that it never peaks and like goes really, really loud for people who are watching. So even those advanced kind of audio tools, you can still use some of those in Descript. It's not too like basic and stuff. So we have our finished podcast here. And let's say, all right, I have my podcast posted. I just want to make a couple clips for my podcast. So there's a couple ways you can do this. First way is you can go into AI tools or Underlord, but I'll go into AI tools. And then you can click on create clips here. And you can just say, hey, Descript, find me some clips. I have a lot of layouts loading. Hey, Descript, find me some clips from this podcast that I can post. You can choose the number of clips. You can choose the duration. Let's say I'll just go for 30 seconds. Then you can even give it some more notes on like what you want your clips to be like, which ones you think will be good for social. And then you can choose to add a layout to those clips or not. I want a layout to my clips. It's the same layout pack that I've been using, just a social version. So just click on submit. Underlord does the work of finding you those clips. Da-da-da. Give it a few seconds and boom, it gives you a couple clips. Now, these ones are a little shorter. This one is about 26 seconds, but you can find all those clips in their own little folder in your project tab or in your composition tab. And you can easily edit those up. Like this one, for example.
The back of my mom's fridge that I've been.
This one.
So, you know, like liquid.
Or this one.
Hits it faster. But it keeps me.
So as you can see, this is not centered, but again, the thing about Descript is you can edit everything. So it's not like you're stuck with this. So I can go through and I can change this however I see fit, where it says show name. I can add feel for work. If I don't like this little gradient that it adds, I can just delete it, or I can just change the opacity, make it a little lighter, and then, or I can just bring it down like this. And then this shot, I can adjust it by double clicking in the scene editor. I can adjust it, double click, and then choose where I want it to be showing. So Marcel is talking, I want it to be on him.
Faster. But it keeps me, you know.
And boom, you can edit all your clips. So that's one way you can do it, is just have Underlord choose your clips for you. Or you can say, hey, I already have a spot where I think it would be a good clip. Let's see. Let's look for one that I think would be a good clip. Let's see. What's your go-to snack for a long day? Let's say I want this to be its own clip. This right here. I can select and say I want all this to be one clip. And then I can duplicate it to a new composition. Open that composition up. And boom, I have my clip. So now I can change it to be portrait mode, like for Instagram, TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, all that stuff. And then I can go back into my layout, look for captions, look for the one I want, this one, and do the same exact thing.
Go-to snack has to be.
Adjust the shot however I want. Delete this, change the show name. If I want to change the shot, again, I just click on it. And then let's say I want to go to the wide shot instead. Boom. Can adjust it, can zoom. If I go into the media tab, I can add GIFs, I can add stickers, I can add whatever I want, adjust it however I see fit. I can change the color of my captions to whatever I want. I can change the size of my captions. I can change the boundary of my captions, position of my captions. I can literally adjust font, whatever I want. I can even add different captions if I don't like these. We have a whole bunch of pre-made options for you already, or you can make your own. So you can, it's an all-in-one suite to make whatever clips you want. And then once I make my clip, all I got to do is, again, post it. Let's see, this is the one that I made earlier. All I got to do, again, is export it, publish it. Publish it if I want to send it out to anyone to like review, or if you want them to be able to download it themselves, then it'll make a share page for you. Or you can also just download it yourself and then publish it wherever you want. And that's it. Your job is done. So basically, just in Descript, I went from having raw recording or even no recording to a finished podcast just like that. Very simple, very easy.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ramdy. Can we get a virtual round of applause for that super dope demo? One of the beauties of editing, or one of the beauties of syncing everything in your sequence, is that you get everything aligned, your video and your audio all aligned in the sequence, and then you take that sequence and you put it into a composition. Then you're able to edit non-destructively, meaning like you make cuts and edits wherever you want, and all of your audio and your video will consistently stay in sync. So yeah, let's see what else we got coming up. Let's jump into the Q&A. So we're going to open it up for questions. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat, and we will try to answer as many as we can. We'll also jump back to see what questions were asked at the start. All right, let's start with this one. Descript with a rooms link, does it record each person's audio locally? We've also had issues using other recording software where it records local to the host and the guest's audio is terrible. I believe it does record locally to everybody's computer, right?
Yeah. I think the way it works is it's continually uploading as you're recording. So any sort of like connection glitches and stuff like that, that won't show up in your recording either. And then they might need to just, after recording, they might need to just let it sit and finish uploading. But
That's right.
yeah, all of it records locally. So you'll have all that stuff uploaded completely in your project.
Yeah, after your room's recording, do not slam your laptop shut. Let it keep going for a little while.
And I think it tells you that too, so you don't have to worry about them doing it accidentally.
Cool. All right, next question is, will we be able to use the record button in Descript with someone and stream at some point like Riverside? I have not used Riverside yet.
Streaming like live, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Not yet. There's no streaming. Yeah. Cool. How much of this process can the current Underlord do today?
I would say Underlord can do a lot of this for you, especially with stuff like automatic multicam, stuff like that. That technically is Underlord doing that for you already. Yeah, I think, me personally, I like to do everything myself just because I like that creative control. but I would say Underlord at the least can be a very good starting point of getting all the stuff, all the tedious stuff just done for you. So you can get more into the creative stuff of like choosing your shots, choosing how you want it to look, choosing your lower thirds, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think the one thing it can't do quite yet is sync your audio and your video for you. That's correct, right? I think I was talking to one of the engineers not too long ago about that.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but I believe it is something that we are working on. It's in the pipeline for us. Cool. What if we need to mute one track, i.e., someone accidentally starts talking over the other person?
Yeah, so if you wanted to mute a section of your sequence, it's very easy to do that as well. For example, if we go into this sequence, and let's say I want to remove everything here except for me speaking. So I want this to be muted and I want this to be muted. So the way I would do that is you would just select the chunk that you want to be muted. So let's start here, and then I'll click S again to kind of split that. And then I would go to where I want it to not be muted again, which is right here. And then I will make another cut there. And then I would just click on these sections and I will go up here to audio and mute my clip. Then I'll go here and I'll mute my clip again. So now all we hear is my audio. So yeah, I think this is very useful if there's any crosstalk or mic bleed. For example, I think here there might be a little bit of mic bleed. Yeah, it's super useful for cutting all that stuff out, muting it. So now we get just my audio nice and clean, but we still have everyone else's audio. It's not like it's completely deleted. And yeah.
Cool. Next question is, are there any tips on multicam setup for Zoom recordings?
Not that I can think of in terms of like having multiple cameras for one shot in a Zoom recording.
Yeah. My assumption would be if you have multiple people in a Zoom recording, like in a Zoom window, like I would just duplicate that video file and then decide who you want to be the point of focus. And I guess like however many people are on your screen, like make that many video layers, and that way you can like cut between each person. And you would just have one audio file audible and mute the other ones. I don't know if that answers the question. But yeah, if I had a Zoom recording where it was like multiple people in the frame and I wanted to turn that into a multicam video, that's how I would do it, is I would just duplicate that video file and center the person that I want on the screen at the appropriate time. Cool. All right. Okay. If you've got two people in two locations, can we also do a split screen where it shows both cameras at the same time as one of the cam options, i.e. reaction shots?
Yeah, you can do that. If you wanted to do a split screen, for example, back here in this podcast, if I wanted to do a split screen here, there are layouts for that. So as you can see in the multicam layout, if we wanted to do a split screen here, we have 4, we have 3, we have 2. Let's say I wanted to do 2 and I wanted the guest shot and the host shot. I would just click here and then I would change this to my host shot. I'll change this to my guest shot. Boom, just like that. And then you can resize it if you want to center it up. If I want it to be on me or on Marcelo, you can resize it. And yeah, you can have split screen shots. So if you have like a remote recording where people are calling in, you can also edit your podcast to where it has that sort of look too.
I think we have time for one quick question, one last question. Ramdy, what is your favorite podcast? I know.
That's a great question.
That's a tough one.
By my boy Aaron. I would say I think my favorite podcast right now is Smosh Reads Reddit Stories. I don't know if any of you guys listen to that podcast as well. But yeah, it's basically just a couple of people reading a whole bunch of stories on Reddit. Some are very drama forward. Some are asking if they're like wrong in a certain situation. It's basically like gossiping for an hour in people's lives. So it's very fun, very entertaining. I'd recommend it.
You heard it here, folks. Smosh reads Reddit posts. Is that right?
Yeah. Reads Reddit stories.
Reads Reddit. Cool. Awesome. Big thank you to Ramdy for the awesome demo and co-hosting. And a huge thank you to Fiona and Trevor, our webinar wizards behind the scenes, pulling all the levers, doing all the work for producing this awesome webinar series. And the biggest thank you to all of you for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful. Please let us know what webinars you'd like to see in the future. And with that, happy video podcast editing. We wish you luck. Also, real quick, we have a big announcement to make. On Thursday and Friday, tune in for our 2-day live telethon hackathon event. We're going to have live demos. We're going to have dope conversations. We're going to have fun videos. We're going to have live hacking. We're going to have some weird entertainment, a little something for everybody. We'll drop some links to day 1 and day 2 of the live stream. So yeah, definitely tune in. It'll be a good time. And with that, we bid you farewell and happy editing.
Bye,
Take care,
y'all.
guys.
Here's a song you can't go wrong if you take an easy line. Catch a tune before it's gone. Anything will go.